Good afternoon and welcome to the Green Screen. This is a brand new show here at Chilton Studio. We are covering all UNT sports today. I am your host, Evanson Frank Love, and let's soar right into things from the jump. We have UNT football here, and I'm joined with my colleague, Jayden Rudd. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great today, Evanson. How about you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Let's talk UNT football here.
Yes,
they hosted their home opener versus Lamar University. How did things go?
Yeah, so UNT opened the season with a 51-0 shutout win over Lamar University, and this marked their first shutout win since 2003. The Mean Green opened up scoring in the first 3 minutes, but failed the PAT because they tried to open up their playbook a little bit and try the swinging gate. This was the first true start for Drew Mestemaker since his bowl game against Texas State a season ago, and he looked great, completing 24 of his 32 passes for 3 touchdowns.
Wow, man. Great start, right?
Yeah.
A really good start. And then let's talk about defense here.
Defense?
We have a new defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah. Skylar Cassidy, he's coming in from Sam Houston State, who he's brung 6 players from Sam Houston State with him, 5 of them who play on defense. And that's highlighted by Trey Fields, who is a starting linebacker right now. And if you guys see him, he wears number 6, and he flies to the ball a lot. They open up this game with 2 defensive stops, a fumble and an interception, and that fumble was recovered in the end zone by Ethan Weslowski. So,
wow.
And I would say they looking good. Against Lamar, they only allowed 119 yards of total offense.
Jayden, can we say that the Eagle has landed?
I think
it seems that UNT football is back, man. And then they had another game the next week versus Western Michigan.
Yes,
they traveled for that one.
Yeah, Western Michigan, this one was kind of really a slow start for us. They opened up the first quarter tying 0-0 at the end, and we had a lot of very odd mistakes seen by the Mean Green. You know, we put in the first 5 of our 6 drives and could not find a groove, but once that second quarter started, it was kind of even until we took a 17-7 deficit at halftime.
Right. And it wasn't looking so great even during the third quarter when they scored Western Michigan, the Broncos, and then they made it, what was the score?
I think 24-10 after a touchdown and a field goal by the Broncos. But once that third quarter kind of got off to a little rocky start, Mestemaker was able to find Trey Williams III for an 18-yard touchdown and cut the lead to 7.
Cut the lead to 7, and then going into the last 1 minute, I believe it was 1 minute and 35 seconds.
Oh, yes, sir.
They drove down the field, were stopped on third down, kicked the field goal. I believe it was 35 yards. I could be wrong. Tie the game. Yes. Overtime. Tell me what happened.
Mackenzie McGill had a great showing this game. Aside from all the mistakes we made on offense and defense, he was able to find openings throughout the game. Continuing his rushing, he rushed for 102 yards after the first game against Lamar, where he finished with 1, but he's showing that he can be that starting running back for us. He was able to get the 3-yard touchdown to seal the game for us in OT and just to walk it off to come back to Denton.
Man, a great victory win for UNT. Even though we were a little surprised, we were expecting that game to be a little bit easier against Western Michigan. And it seems that we are hosting Washington State coming up next week.
Yes.
But before we get into that, do we have something from the coach?
Yes, we do actually have Eric Morris, who has something to say about cleaning up this week, aside from all of our issues from last week.
Okay.
We got to take it 1 week at a time, I think. I mean, obviously the good and the bad of the last 2 weeks, and we got to put all that behind us. We got a brand new challenge. It'll be our toughest challenge yet. There's no doubt about that. And so this will be a game of that. I mean, this team's going to be well coached. They're going to be right time at the right spots, and we're going to have to out execute them on both sides of the football. And so, looking forward to that.
This is the second consecutive year that UNT has been 2-0, off to a great start, of course. And we're looking to be 3-0 versus Washington State. How do we keep that consistency of winning?
I feel like aside from all the mistakes made last week and the slow starts on offense and defense, kind of just, I would say, like he said in the video, take it week by week, stay level-headed. We did see our defense give up 216 rushing yards, which isn't something that's not out of the ordinary, but I feel like it's something that Skylar Cassidy has a defensive game plan to pick up off of that. And as we know, UNT is coming into this game averaging 42 points per game, knowing last year we had a top 3 total offense led by Coach Eric Morris, which is going to be very interesting because he is actually coming from Mike Leach's coach pool, which is actually Washington State's head coach. And Eric Morris has said that he has been around a lot of these guys that are playing for Washington State right now who might be in their senior year and stuff like that. So I think this week, Skylar Cassidy and Eric Morris have great defensive and offensive game plans to secure a win in front of a sold-out crowd.
Hopefully, and it looks like they do have the background, like you said, coming from from Washington State. Let me ask you just one last question. What excites you the most that you want to see UNT implement going into this next game or continue doing in this next game versus Washington State?
I think personally it would be the run game. First week we had, I think, 6 or 7 different running backs run the ball, and I think we had about 150, 200 yards, I believe. And this last week, another one, McGill led the way for 103 yards. I do want to see how much more we can implement that because we have such a deep running back room. Same way with the receivers. We see Cam Dorner and Wyatt Young out here making statements against Lamar. And then we had Miles Coleman, who's supposed to be making a big impact this week, and also Simeon Evans, who's also the veteran of the group. So I'm ready to see how they go this weekend.
Man, very excited. Football is back, everybody. UNT football is back. Thank you so much, Jayden, for giving us the update. Sir. And can't wait to see you on Saturday.
Of course.
Moving on to sports, we have UNT women's soccer. They started off the season 4-4. Now, I know some might say that's a rocky start, but all of their losses came down to 1 point. And it's showing that they have a lot of potential. We do have our reporter, Jake Broom, who has more on UNT women's soccer.
3 minutes is all it took for UNT to get on the board at Thursday's game versus ACU. Peyton Renfro scored her second career goal, her first being in August against Sam Houston. The senior had her goal assisted by junior midfielder Mia Bernard. The Mean Green kept their lead until a penalty shot from ACU's Abby Smith got by goalkeeper Elena Arneth in the 53rd minute. This goal, however, didn't stop UNT, who proceeded to berate ACU's goalkeeper Lily Ross with a total of 21 shots and 11 on target. As time was expiring into the final minute, an unlucky rebound off of Lily Ross went right to the shoes of sophomore forward Claire Niedermeyer, who netted her third career game-winning goal with 29 seconds left on the clock, effectively stealing ACU's chance of a win and extending their losing streak to 3 games. When asked how they kept the momentum going after their first goal, Niedermeyer said, "Watching that first goal go in, we really just started to build off of it, and it was rewarding seeing that last one go in." Unfortunately, UNT started their 4-game away streak with a 1-0 loss to ULM. Their next game is against Army in West Point on September 11th. This has been Jake Broom with Denton Community TV.
What a start for women's soccer here. And like they said, they did lose their last game versus ULM, only by 1 point, showing the potential that they do have. They do play again tonight versus Army. We'll see how they do. Very excited for UNT women's soccer. But let's move on to some more women's sport that we have here at UNT. We have women's volleyball, and I'm joined here with Baylee Dusuau, who's here to talk about the women's volleyball team. They're starting off pretty good, aren't they?
They are. They absolutely are. I mean, if the first 6 games are anything to go off of, they are just off to a great start, led by the helm with their new coach, Dave Fleming, and he is just doing an exceptional job just to start off the season. I mean, they opened up the season with the Lion Invitational. They absolutely swept the universities, Little Rock, Providence, and East Texas A&M 3-0, absolutely dominated that invitational. And then just this past week at the 305 Challenge, they did fall to UMiami and Drake University, but they had a fantastic comeback against the Stetson Hatters. And they just finished their first 6 games with a 4-2 record, which is just amazing, comparing it to their last year's start with a 2-4 record. So, I mean, doing great.
I mean, would you say it's the coach?
I absolutely would. I mean, I talked to some of the girls just yesterday, and they had amazing things to say about him. Let's see what they had to say.
Let's hear it.
Dave is really about us as people, and like he cares like about our day. Like he'll ask us like what we had for breakfast, and I think he just does a really good job of like making us feel cared for, and that we're more like we get treated as people and not just athletes. And I think that gives us confidence in not only him but ourselves.
Wow, it's very important to have good team chemistry in volleyball, and I can see that Dave Fleming, he's bringing that in for them, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I also talked to him yesterday, and he was just talking about how instead of him leading, it was mostly the girls leading him, and how they've just come together over just the summer and the preseason and just these first couple weeks into the regular season. I can just tell just from how he's spoken about the girls and the team that he just has a passion and a fire to push these girls to the next level and bring a new just version of the UNT volleyball team, and I'm just excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, hopefully everything goes very well, because they do have a tournament tomorrow, don't they?
Yes, they do. It is the UNT-UTA joint tournament, and it starts off tomorrow at the UNT volleyball facilities. They actually open meeting again with Little Rock. The coach was saying that even though they did beat Little Rock at the Line Invitational, they're not a team to take lightly. They are a competitive team, and they're going to meet he said that the UNT girls are going to meet that team at that competition level and hopefully push through again. But I think the match that we're all excited to see is the UTA versus UNT match, which is this Sunday at UTA, and UTA is currently undefeated. So I'm excited to see how Fleming is going to push these girls to that challenge, and how if they're going to overcome it, and just see how that's going to play out.
Did Fleming talk to you about any strategies going into these games, or is it just keeping the composure, making sure team chemistry well, the rapport is very well? Did he talk to you about any strategies at all?
Not so much strategies, but he was saying how there are definitely some girls who have just stepped up at the beginning of the season. We have some just great performances from Reagan Bedell and Alexa Washington. They just both had career record-setting games against the Hatters just this last week, and they just showed Fleming and the other girls what they can be expected of them and what they just have to offer to this team.
And also Janiyah Jackson, I mean,
yeah.
The start that she's had is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. 15 kills, 29 attacks against the Hatters, just absolutely dominating that game. She definitely showed what a player that she can be and what she has to offer to that team. And I'm excited to see what she does against Little Rock and especially against UTA.
Man, I wish them nothing but the best tomorrow for their tournament. Thank you so much, Baylee. Thank you. And volleyball is back.
Volleyball's back.
The Eagle has landed.
Yeah.
The Eagle has landed. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's move on to some more UNT sports that we have. It'll be men's and women's golf. It teed off this fall semester. Men's played their first tournament at the Argent Financial Classic. They placed 9th out of 17. That's pretty good. That's very good, especially considering that they rebounded from a 296 first round with scores of 282 and 277 for the final 2 rounds. Men's, they play their next tournament next Friday, and women's played their first tournament at the Sam Golden Collegiate Invitational. On September 8th, they placed 5th on the first day and tied for second on the second. They also had the second best 54-hole score versus par in program history. Congratulations, women's golf. What a great start we're off to for UNT sports. But let's keep the ball moving, because we still have some more sports here today. We have tennis, and my guy Josh Landers is here in the studio with me to talk to you about women's tennis. Josh, how are we feeling today?
Thanks, Evanson. And there is so much to say about this UNT tennis team. UNT senior Stephanie Informi opened up her season with a UTR Pro Tennis Tour Championship win. She went undefeated in group play, following up with a big-time victories in both the semifinal and final. It led off to a rough start, but she ultimately took home the championship. The Mean Green returned to action this following weekend in the Diving Eagle Invitational. Teams that will be attending that are teams like Tarleton State, Louisiana Tech, and Northwestern State. But if I was on the tennis team, I wouldn't be worried because they did phenomenally last year. UNT's tennis team for singles had a combined record of 18-6, and for doubles, they did even better. For UNT doubles, 3 of the final 4 teams that were in the final championship round were all UNT tennis players. The championship team includes Stephanie Informi, as well as Lily Schultz. UNT is expected to improve their upcoming season this year, as last year they went 12-12. They also made it to the postseason last year, which they weren't able to do since the 2018-2019 season. So I'm very hopeful that this year they can reach the postseason and do much better as they can as a team. And back to Evanson in the studio.
Thank you so much, Josh. We're very excited for women's tennis this season as they start their first tournament tomorrow, like he said. Please, everybody, join us. It's an invitational here at home. Join your Mean Green peers here and supporting teams. Are you not entertained? This is sports. This is fall season. We're back. And we're the Green Screen. We're here to cover all sports for you and for everyone. So, thank you so much for joining us today. Here at Chilton Studio, I am your host. Thank you so much and enjoy.